They are dear friends of mine, and so I'm now going to invite you to welcome to the show Heathen Podcast, everybody!
Oh, hi! Oh, hi!
Hi!
Colby.
You're here! You're here!
Just roll cut already.
We're just casually reading.
Yeah.
What is you're just reading? Oh, well, don't let me interrupt. To quote Jon Stewart, go on. Hi, friends. Okay,
Hi.
so
Hi.
You want to introduce yourself? Because I just call you Heathen Podcast.
That's how we go by. Yep.
Yeah, we
But this-
don't have individual names.
First
one's
name Heathen, last name
one's
podcast.
Okay, wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you for being here tonight. You look fab.
Thank you. A girl doesn't get much of an opportunity to dress up during COVID-19, so
So here she is. And then I
Take
had to sit next
the
to her,
chance.
so I tried to match your book.
With your eyes!
look at that color
Wow!
scheme.
That's amazing. That's amazing. When we do a giveaway later for the most matchy eye makeup, you're in the top 3 for sure.
Thank you. That's all I really want in the world.
Okay, so all night long we have been talking about the themes of this book. That if you're just joining us, it's pretty late, but welcome. This is a live stream extravaganza book release for my book, The Shift, which is about shifting away from conservative Christianity and towards something more progressive and Christian. I don't know, like those are terms that people all define a little bit differently. I define it in the opening of the book, but and so we've been talking about this journey, this experience, what that's been like. And this is a space that I know the two of you have not only ventured yourselves in your own journeys, but through your podcast, you have people on all the time to talk about this journey. And so I thought, okay, if we're going to talk about The Shift, I got to get Heathen on, and I need them to just share with us what are some of the things that you hear most? What are some of the things that come up? So the two things are challenges, like the challenges that people experience when going through the shift. And then the second one is the sort of liberating good parts of it. But let's start with the first one. Share with me, what are some of the common things that come up from people that you talk with as far as what the challenges when they go through their shift?
Well, first of all, can I just say thank you for having Heathen on
Yes.
your shift toward progressive Christianity. I feel like the spectrum. Did we freeze? Are we frozen?
You did.
Oh, but you can hear me?
Sad.
I can hear you.
Keep talking
Just
in
keep
hopes that
talking.
it'll unfreeze. I feel like the spectrum, it doesn't end at progressive Christianity. I think it keeps going. And at some point along the way, you find Heathen. So that's where you find us. So
I like
thanks
that.
for including the full spectrum,
I like that.
Colby, in your shift book release party. Karen, so the question we're answering, we're still frozen, aren't we?
Yeah. Let's see if we can get you back before you answer that
Okay.
question.
Should we do a quick exit and come
While
back
you
in?
do the quick exit, I will just reiterate. Yeah, go ahead.
Can we give away 2 more books, Val?
Kate just
that
wants to
possible?
give away more and
I
more
do.
books.
I'm sorry. I have 2 people I really want to give books to. Is that possible? Oh, but we're doing a call.
So,
Okay.
sorry, people. I'm trying to. I'm going to start, and you guys join.
You're good.
But what I loved about what they said is that Heathen sort of their podcast exists on even the outside fringe of progressive Christianity, which I really love. So, okay, I think you are back in 3, 2, 1.
We move? We
Hi.
can move.
Okay, hopefully you won't freeze again.
I'm taking up all the frame now.
There you
Okay,
go.
there we go.
That's better. It's real cozy over here.
I think Mark Zuckerberg got real threatened when you talked about going beyond the edges of progressive Christianity.
That's
So,
really fair.
He's like,
Yeah.
Russia, cool. Heathens.
Forget it. Forget it.
Okay, so to the
yeah.
question.
Back to the struggle. Yeah, I think for me, and in most of the people that we've talked to, which also echoed my own experience, fear is the most common emotion that I think we encounter. Just this fear of not just rejection from friends and family, but really fear of, if I don't have this thing that is this defining part of my identity, what do I have? And when you're raised to believe again and again that, like, this is where community is found, this is where wholeness is found, this is where salvation and love and all of the good things in the world live in this place. What's on the other side of that? If you lose those pieces, what do you have? So,
and part of the upbringing, I think, for so many of us who did come up in the very fundamentalist conservative world is that there isn't a world beyond that, and we're taught from a pretty young age that anything beyond that is the slippery slope to really scary places. So the fear is real, and then it's even more real because we don't know where we go. If we leave any of it behind, we don't know what's out there at all.
Do you think
it feels like a big loss?
Do you think that when people talk about slippery slope, that they might have had in their mind that maybe drag would be somewhere at the bottom of the slippery slope?
Do you know? I don't think drag even registered.
That's true, huh? That's true, huh?
That was not
Never
even a thing
in a million years
that we were aware of in the church I grew up in. So this is, you guys, fair warning. This is the end of the slippery slope right here.
She's what you find at the bottom of the slippery slope now.
And it's okay, and it's okay, and it's good. I guess is like, right? It's
better
like
than okay. Yeah.
it's not that it's not real. The slippery slope is real. We've several people tonight have talked about pulling the first thread, or knocking the first domino, or touching the first house of cards. As you said, the fear, it's well founded. People aren't irrational for being afraid to pull, push, ask questions. So the slippery slope is real, but it's not life threatening. If anything, it's life giving, I would say.
Yes. Did you tell them your name?
Oh no! We didn't. We actually didn't introduce ourselves. So this is Karen.
Hi,
Karen.
And I'm Matthew. But tonight and on other nights, I go by Miss Flamey Grant. So
Flamey Grant.
I mean, that's
it.
my little tip of the hat to my upbringing as well. So
I love it. Talk to me a bit about what have you heard from people when you've heard their short stories about the shift. What have they shared with you that has been liberating? What are some of the signs of new life once they've either gotten to the bottom of the slope or they've taken the whole Jenga tower down? What are some common things that come up for people when they share about the good parts?
I think for me, the thing that stands out that we hear over and over again is just people falling in love with the beauty of all of these things that they weren't, quote unquote, allowed to engage with before, and finding the divine and finding something holy and finding parts of themselves in all of these places that used to be the scary bottom of the slippery slope. I think we listen with openness now instead of, I think I went through my whole life low-key condescending, like I'll listen to you, but really,
low-key condescended, yeah.
Like I respect your opinion, but mine's right, and there is such joy in people discovering, being able to listen to other ideas and connect with them and just discovering what really works for them spiritually and what moves them in this wide open Dixie Chicks way.
What about you, Flamey? What have you heard from people?
Boy, I mean, a lot of just echoing what Karen said, but to the point of, it's the discoveries you make along the way about who you, as a human being walking around in the world, are, like how you can interact with other people in ways that you just never expected. I mean, drag is obviously a phenomenal, physical, very visceral, real example of that. I can recall times as a kid when I was very interested in mom's skirts, mom's high heels, and mom's makeup, and it was all shut down so quickly at such a young age because that was just absolute no. So being able to come on the internet now and talk to my friends about this beautiful journey looking the way I do right now, it is such a liberating and wonderful process. I love the thing about Heathen is that we talk to a different person every week, and we do talk to people across the spectrum. Yeah. Maybe not the full spectrum. Definitely people who have
across many spectrums, many different types of spectrums,
and who have at least begun the shift. Because frankly, it's hard to get people to come on a podcast called Heathen unless they have shifted in some way. So every time we talk to somebody new, we discover something fantastic and beautiful. For me, I'm just loving right now I'm at a point in my journey where I almost crave a little bit of belief again. I'm almost looking for places to put my faith, and when I get to talk to somebody who's passionate about something, whether that is like mysticism, whether that is physical practices like yoga, whether it's we've done things like past life regressions and descending into the depths of our minds to discover our power animal shamanic practices, all sorts of things. It's just fascinating to feel how very real all the beliefs are for the people that we're talking to. And in that moment, it's like, I believe this with you. That's what I want to say to people. Like right now in this conversation with you, because we are connected, I believe this thing with you. And it feels really great to be able to practice belief that doesn't have to feel so permanent. Like I know that the next person I talk to, I'm going to believe something different because they're going to have a whole different experience than me, and it's going to open my eyes to something new. So
Blair says, thank you for being yourself, Matthew.
Thank you, Blair.
Isn't that great? Okay, you guys have been so gracious with your time, especially because it's a little later than I told you you'd be on. But I do have, I think, 2 minutes left for the time that 10 minutes that I said I would take of yours. Can you, thank you for sharing all of that and sharing yourselves. I'm wondering if you can say a word now to anybody who's watching now or later who is in the midst of the shift, or who might just log this into their brain later because the shift might be coming for them. What's something you would say to someone who's in that process?
Just, baby, you're not alone. Yeah. You are so not alone. I know it feels that way. Especially in those early stages, it is so scary.
So much.
But there are a host of people you never imagined that you would get to do life with and be so deeply, passionately in love with on the other side of it, who are going to absolutely light you up. And, do it in your own time, but don't stop. Keep coming.
Yeah. Yeah, the story I tell over and over again is when I was right in my bottom, my absolute, everything was deconstructed. The foundation had been ripped up. I listened to Richard Rohr on Pete Holmes' what is it? You Made It Weird podcast. Yeah. But I listened to that episode with Richard Rohr, and it wasn't what he said that got me. It was the way that when Pete would ask a question about religious deconstruction, he would laugh. And there was something in that laugh where he was just like, yeah, I remember feeling that way.
Just non-threatened by the question.
Yeah, I grabbed onto that and I was like, this guy has come to the other side and he is able to laugh about this now. And in the years that have followed, like being able to be that person on the other side when people are in the middle of that, to just be like, yes, but as devastated as I am along with you, I am so happy for where you are going, because there is something incredibly free and beautiful right on the other side of this.
That's good stuff. Okay, will you tell everyone how they can find you? I assume they can search Heathen Podcast, and there's probably not too many options out there other than yours.
There are actually a couple Heathen podcasts.
Oh,
but,
wait, what?
Or not. There's Heathen in the name. I think we're the only Heathen podcast.
Heathen podcast. Anywhere you get your podcasts, you can find us. Yeah. And if you follow us on Facebook, we are live every Thursday night right now doing Heathen Happy Hour. And this week we've got a special guest. So
we do have a special guest this Thursday night. So
Thursday, what time? What time Thursday?
7 p.m. Pacific.
7 p.m.
So late night
Pacific.
For the East Coasters, but it's worth it.
Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific.
Look how fast you are on the uptake.
You do these
fanciest live stream.
You do these musical happy hours because you both are phenomenal musicians, and Ben Grace, who joined us earlier, is also part of it. So the three of you do these phenomenal live music happy hours on Thursdays, and you've invited me to come along. So I'm going to join you on Thursday at 7 over on your Facebook's page. And we're going to do some music. And the theme, what's the theme again of the songs we're doing?
John's, Jack's, and Jason's.
So songs by John's, Jack's, and Jason's. And
guitars.
Just good old mantar music. Because that's all I'm good at, you guys. I can't do all the fancy Disney songs that you guys do.
It's going to be great.
So fun.
So that's going to be super fun.
Colby, congratulations. Yay! We're so happy for you.
We love you. We love this book.
Woo! Thank you. You two are wonderful. Thanks for coming on. Good night, you two.